Hello friends, welcome back to my another After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to see how to create cinematic trailer title animation in After Effects. You can also use this animation as a logo reveal. So let's have a look. Here I have already imported all files requires for this project. You can download the files and you can also buy the complete project from my store. The link is given in the description. If you are new to this channel, I publish a new content every Tuesday and Friday, so make sure to subscribe this channel. So now let's start creating it. Create a new composition. Name it as text. Now set the time duration to minimum 10 seconds. Here we need to add our text. Here you can also add your logo if you want to make it as logo reveal. Now align the text to the center. Now we need to create another composition. Name it as the reflection. Now in this composition, we need to add texture image file. Now position the texture image as shown. Now let's animate it. Press P to bring up the position. Now let's create a keyframe for position. Now go at end of the timeline. Now change the position of texture image file as shown. Now let's see the preview. Perfect. Now in Effects and Presets search for Motion Tile. Add it to the texture image file. Now here we need to change the output width and output height value to 200. Now select the mirror edge. Now let's see the preview. Perfect. Now let's create another composition. Name it as animation. Let's set the time duration to 5 seconds. You can also increase the composition duration, if you want this animation for a long duration. Now first let's create a new solid. Name it as background. Here the background color is set to gray. Now let's add our text composition to the timeline. Now let's animate our text. In Effects and Preset search for Fill. Add it to the text composition. Change the fill color to black. Now let's add shadow to our text. In Effects and Preset search for Drop Shadow. Add it to the text composition. Now set the opacity to 90%. Now at the start of the timeline, create a keyframe for direction. Now change the direction value to 225 degrees. Now go to the end of the timeline. Change the direction to 150 degrees. Now change the distance value to 40. Change softness value to 70. Now in Effects and Preset search for Bevel Alpha. Add it to the text layer. Change edge thickness value to 4. Now change the light intensity value to 1. Now let's add the reflection composition to the timeline. Now press S to bring up the scales. Change the scale value to 75%. Now in Effects and Presets search for CC Glass. Add it to the reflection composition. Now under Surface, change the bump map to text. Now change the property to red. Change the softness value to 40. Change the height value to 50. Now change the displacement value to -400. Now under the light, change the light intensity value to 150. Now let's again add the text composition to the timeline. Now for reflection composition, change the track matte to alpha matte text. Now select the above text composition. Add the CC Glass effect to text composition. Now under Surface, change the property to red. Change softness value to 40. Change displacement value to -400. Now in Effects and Presets search for CC Blobble Eyes. Add it to text composition. Now under Blurriness, change property to alpha. Change softness value to 3. Change cutaway value to 5. Now under the light, change the light intensity to 150. Here the values I have used are the rough values. You are free to change any value to get the best result. Just like light intensity, displacement values for glass effects. Now create a new null object. Now parent text composition and reflection composition to the null object. Now press S to bring up scales. Now create a keyframe for scale. Change the scale value to 80%. Now go at end of the timeline. Change scale value to 90%. For a fast preview, you can set the preview mode to quarter. Now let's see the preview. Perfect. Now let's work on the background. Now add the background image provided to the timeline. Place it below the text layer. Now let's scale the image to fit the composition. Press S to bring up the scales. Now change the scale value to 32%. Now select the ellipse tool. Now let's draw mask from the center. Draw mask as shown. Now change the mask feather value to 1000. Now in Effects and Presets search for the curves. Add it to the background image. Now you need to adjust the curves as shown. Now in Effects and Presets search for tint. Add it to the background image. Now in Effects and Presets search for sharpen. Add it to the background image. Change sharpen amount to 100. Now for background image press T to bring up the opacity. Change opacity value to 45. Now press S to bring up scale. Create a keyframe for scale. Now go at end of the timeline. Change scale value to 38%. Now let's add the pre-rendered particle file to the timeline. Change mode to screen. Now let's create a new solid. Name it as the mask. Change the color to dark solid. Now select the ellipse tool and draw mask as shown. For mask 1, change mode to subtract. Change the mask feather value to 650 pixels. Now let's add the lens media file to the timeline. Now in Effects and Preset, search for Hue, Saturation. Add it to the lens media file. Now select the Colorize. Change the Colorize Hue value to 160. Colorize Saturation value to 10. Now for Lens Change Mode to add. Now create a new adjustment layer. Now in Effects and Preset, search for Fast Blur. Add it to the adjustment layer. Now come back to the start of the timeline. Create a keyframe for the blurriness. Now change the blurriness value to 30. Select the repeat edge pixels. Now go up 2 seconds. Change blurriness value to 0. Now press U to view created keyframes. Now select created keyframes, change keyframe assistant to easy ease. Now in Effects and Preset, search for Sharpen. Add it to the adjustment layer. Change Sharpen amount to 30. Now in Effects and Preset, search for Curves. Add it to the adjustment layer. Now adjust the curves as shown. Here you can adjust the curves to get the best color for your animation. Here I will adjust the channel blue. Now let's see the preview. Perfect. Now create a new composition. Name it as Final. Now let's add our animation composition to the timeline. Now let's add the frames to our composition. Let's create a new solid. Name it as the frame. Now draw mask as shown. Change the mode to subtract. Now let's preview it. Similarly, you can create more text animation composition and make your trailer. Thank you guys for watching this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, then make sure to like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.